Hi, welcome back to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel. My name is Chris and I'm here to bring you guys the high rev perspective.
And my name is Josh and I'll be bringing the low rev perspective.
Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Radical Revenge Pearl, and I'm going to be comparing that to the Storm Phase 2 Pearl and the Brunswick Crown Victory Pearl.
And I'll be comparing it to the Hammerhead Pearl and the Brunswick Crown Victory. These comparisons will give us and you an idea of what these pieces look like going down the lane. At the end, we will give our honest, unbiased review anywhere from nuts to trash. With that being said, we are here at Mesa East on a fresh house shot. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you out on the lanes.
To me, this ball motion actually looked pretty good. I thought it might have been too weak before I threw the ball, but going down the lane, the cover actually had a decent amount of teeth, and even though it wanted to float down the lane, it wasn't too quick to friction, then it hockey sticked once it saw the friction down lane. It was actually slow and rounded. Still pretty angular, but I think it was rounded enough that it actually blended the friction quite a bit better than I anticipated. So to me, this definitely fits in the medium sharp, kind of almost weak and sharp category, just because the diff is definitely a lot lower than some of the other balls in this session. But ball motion was pretty good, so now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Phase 2 Pearl and see how that compares. All right, so the Phase 2 Pearl is quite a bit stronger than the Revenge Pearl. There's quite a bit of a gap in between the two. The Phase 2 Pearl wanted to be much earlier and stronger option. I do think both of these kind of have that round characteristic, but the Revenge Pearl wanted to float down the lane quite a bit further and have that break point a little closer to the pins than the Phase 2 Pearl. Even my misses left and kind of in the oil with the Phase 2 Pearl, it was super strong and wanted to pick up earlier than the Revenge Pearl. And when I opened up my angles, the Phase 2 Pearl just wanted to blend it, and the Revenge Pearl kind of saw it and was quite a bit quicker than the Phase 2 Pearl. So now I'm gonna go and throw the Crown Victory Pearl and see how that compares. All right, so the Revenge Pearl is quite a bit closer to the Crown Victory Pearl after seeing that go down the lane than the Phase 2 Pearl. There's not quite as much of a gap in between the two, but the Crown Victory Pearl is still weaker and quicker to friction than the Revenge Pearl. My misses left were quite a bit better with the Revenge Pearl just because I feel like the cover had a little bit more teeth to it. The Crown Victory Pearl, when it saw friction, it went, and when it was in oil, it never wanted to start up and see it. The Revenge Pearl is definitely a little bit of a step up from the Crown Victory Pearl, but they would fit in a similar category. I do think the Revenge Pearl looks quite a bit better for higher rev rates, especially if you have a little bit lower ball speed. This one is down lane enough, but not super angular, so it's blendy enough that it actually looks pretty good for higher rev rates. So, all right, final thoughts on the Revenge Pearl. To me, with how good this ball looked, especially with having a little bit higher rev rate, I feel like this actually blended the friction quite a bit better than I anticipated. Even though it's a weaker ball and you kind of think it would be a little bit more angular and a little quicker to friction, this one I was actually rounded off of it and it looked pretty good for me. So I think I'm gonna give this ball a fire. I think I really like this ball motion going down the lane.
For me, this ball was a little weaker than I anticipated. Definitely quick to friction and was smoother through the fronts. I could easily tell this ball was the first couple shots it felt like it was a little bigger, but especially when I missed in, you could see how much it floated, which is an instant kind of signal that this ball is quicker to friction. And you could see that once I kind of started to bend the lane a little bit and got it to friction, how quick it was off of it. For right now, this is definitely not the ball I'd be throwing. I felt like it was way too clean and just really just made me uncomfortable in a sense of I wasn't really sure if I needed to get it to friction or if I needed to keep it in, because either miss just didn't feel right. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw the hammerhead pearl next. For me, this ball felt like it was similar in quickness, but was definitely earlier. Picked up a cup, I would say about a zone sooner, but still had the same kind of friction response as the Revenge. I felt like it was quicker and more violent, but again, this one, the difference I feel like is when I missed in, it actually wanted to hook where the Revenge did not. Now we're gonna go ahead and throw the Crown Victory next. For me, this ball felt like it was similar to the smoothness and the cleanness through the front part of the lane as the Revenge, but definitely not as quick to friction down lane. I felt like this ball was, could see when I got it in was actually when it reacted the best, just because it was a little bit more gradual off of it, where the Revenge definitely was quicker than that. Crown, even when I did get it right, and even though it hooked early and went through the face, it still felt different than the Revenge. I feel like the Revenge, I knew it was gonna go high, where the Crown still felt like it was trying to kind of stay there a little bit. For me, the Crown has been one of my faves of really all time, and again, it still will be, but I feel like the Revenge is just a little bit quicker and a little bit, I would say, more unreliable than something like the Crown. Final thoughts on the Revenge Pearl. Like I said, for me, this is definitely a quicker, cleaner, symmetrical pearl where it wants to be quicker to friction. Definitely a ball you'd want to bend the lane with at like the end of a block when they're really starting to hook, or end of league kind of thing. So for me, in today, this ball just did not give me any sort of good ball motion. I wasn't throwing the best shots out there, but the ones that I did feel like I threw well, it just didn't react the way I wanted it to. So for today, it's gonna have to be a potato. Unfortunately, like I said, this ball just didn't quite fit my eye, and I don't really see myself throwing this type of ball really again on really anything. Like I said, for me, it just feels like it's too clean and doesn't hook enough. A potato for today.
Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.